This month, I'd like to tell you about a wonderful mission that we support called IDES. IDES stands for International Disaster Emergency Services, and what IDES tries to do is focus on 5 different areas. Those areas are hunger relief, disaster relief, evangelism, medical aid, and development of the infrastructure and resources. IDES is a neat mission because it's really a testament to the statement that one man can make a difference. Milton Bates, back in 1972, was watching the news and saw a news story about poor people in Bangladesh that were starving. It touched his heart, and he felt, why aren't we doing something about this? Why aren't Christians doing something about this? You know, there's so many people that are hungry and need help, and we sit here satisfied. We need to help them. So back in 1972, based on seeing that one news story, he helped get together with some pastors and form IDES, which is now able to help millions, literally millions of people around the globe. In terms of disaster relief, IDES has had a busy year. If you've been at Washington Christian for a while, you probably remember a couple years ago how we had a drive for the tsunami that hit Indonesia. That's been about a 2-year project, and they've built over 700 homes for people who have been displaced by the floods. They are doing post-Katrina work here in the States, and one thing I'd like to tell you about is a new project they're doing called DART. And what DART is, it's basically like a Christian Red Cross, where they're trying to organize Christian churches around the United States to be able to mobilize and help when disaster strikes, so that people can get there quickly, people who need food and shelter can get it as quickly as possible. IDES is working on this with a man named Joe Luttrell. He is heading it up, and we could use your prayers to find another person to assist him. IDES has also been busy helping out with the tornado that hit Kansas, and also Hurricane Dean in Jamaica. They've sent a couple teams down to Hurricane Dean, and here you can see some of the people that are being helped in that effort. IDES has 10 different missions in 5 countries where they are working to feed those who need food badly. These hunger programs are funded almost entirely through Harvest of Talents programs, which may ring a bell if you're familiar with that. Lincoln Christian Church started the Harvest of Talents program down in 1984. A lot of other churches across the nation have really got the idea of Harvest of Talents, where people just donate crafts, food, items for auction. They just donate it and have a one-day special where people can buy these things and bid on them and have a good time, and all the money goes to IDES for their feeding programs. A lot of the poor areas of the world do not have adequate medical care for things that we consider simple here in the United States. So IDES sends both not only materials but doctors as well to help. For example, cleft palate work is a major problem in India and other areas. Tuberculosis is still a problem in North Korea, and IDES was recently able to send a large shipment of tuberculosis medication there, and as well as AIDS medication, which is always needed in Africa. IDES also tries to spread the gospel directly through evangelism. You may notice that many of their efforts are materials-based, where they give food or medical aid or something like that to spread the love of Christ, but they also believe in direct evangelism. And 2 things that they have done this year recently are a Bible project in China, and also a children's Bible project in Kosovo. Kosovo has a large Muslim population, so what they try to do is they've been writing children's stories and children's Bible stories for the kids. They want the kids to share these with the parents, because that's kind of an easier way. The Muslims there reject Bibles. They know what Bibles are, and they don't want that because they're Islamic. But when the kids bring home books to read just with their parents, that's a good way, and kind of a softer way, if you will, to evangelize and spread the good news of Christ. Another thing that IDES likes to help out with is development, and this is primarily development of infrastructure in certain countries. Things like fresh water through digging wells and purification, and also electricity, providing generators for areas that have been perhaps hit by a disaster or that just need power and can't get it any other way. Here in these pictures you can see some of the work they've done with well projects in both India and Africa. The people are always very grateful to get clean drinking water, and it's kind of neat. You know, IDES can spread the good news, and the people make a connection with living water. You know, we take it for granted. We have water at the turn of the tap, but these people do not. And so when they see clean drinking water, it's a great analogy for the living water of Christ. The Philippines had a super tsunami hit right around December of last year. This displaced hundreds of thousands of people, and IDES stepped in and helped as best they could. They did several different things. They helped with farming projects. They helped provide for livestock and for supplies for farmers who had lost all their crops and lost everything in the tsunami. They also provided just counseling and business support. There were several, here you see a picture of a Philippines businessman, and this is someone who they counseled and educated into some ways that he could utilize his resources a little bit more effectively. They built a water tower and helped provide fresh water for a children's Bible school. Whenever a disaster hits, if you've ever been through a disaster yourself, the hardest thing is just losing your home or loved ones or both. People like that need a lot of emotional support. They need someone to be there for them. On a more serious note, I'd like you to pray for the staff of IDES. They lost 2 dear souls this past August of 2007. The founder, Milton Bates, passed away. I believe he was 90 years old, and of course that hit IDES hard. But his family, his daughter and his son, both work directly in IDES, and they're carrying the torch, and it's a tough time, but they will keep going. But pray for the family, and also Richard Sprague, who was the director for many years, he recently retired. His wife Eleanor also passed away in August. So prayers go out to the IDES family for those losses that they've sustained.